talk about this. Okay, so this the other day, we had the internets were all in a tizzy because Big Sean had done an interview where he said that him and Janae Aiko have not moved to the next level with marriage, but there's still work to do in that department. Nonetheless, they have a child together. And people were like, oh my God, like you have a child, but you're not getting married. Now, what I will say the distinction is that he has one child with one woman whom he lives with.
Yeah.
And who he's been in a relationship with for an extended amount of time. Enter Cam Newton. Let's just listen to the audio.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Brian, I'm just taking my time. I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active, okay? So you're creating, but you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears, but you will selfishly create broken families even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior to say that I'm gonna build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't gonna create a home in them. I'm gonna wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife, and then I'm gonna build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and that's selfish.
Now, no surprise, he defended this. He said that he believes that his reality differs from traditional family expectations and that he dismissed the idea that he abandons his children or their mothers. But what I would like to point out here, though, is that I think that we're just using the conversation to have a bigger conversation, but I think so many brothers that think this way don't realize that what they're actually doing is just carrying out abandonment issues. You're having a bunch of kids so that you know that you will always be tethered to something that's yours. So that makes you feel safe. But you're not attaching yourself to another person because you are afraid of that person leaving you one day and you not knowing how to handle that. That's it.
Yeah. Is that the same lady that was on with Nick Cannon getting him together?
Oh, was it?
I
Because she
think
probably
that's
just,
the same lady. Yeah.
I mean, they could have just superimposed her and had the same conversation. Because ultimately, this idea of the broken home. So even if you're, I know that the term broken home gets really misused sometimes, right? Because it feels like when you're in a situation where the home itself is broken, then leaving isn't necessarily going to make it more broken. You know what I mean? Like if you're, so I know that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I stayed together for the kids, but y'all were broken in the house. So that's one thing. But I do think there's something very different with the idea of I have no intention of even building a family. I'm not even going to try it. I'm just doing, because he said in the interview, like, I'm just having kids. And I know brothers like that. They're just like, I'm just having kids because I want kids in the world.
This Big Papa was a Rolling Stone energy out here.
I've been getting really introspective and kind of like metaphysical about souls and just like, what does it mean for our souls to inhabit our bodies on this planet? And the more that I get in depth in this and thinking about it and trying to understand it, the more I really feel like we just do not honor the individuality of someone's soul enough. And I think that he's not even doing that with his kids, and not just him, but people who think like this aren't really understanding, to me, the power of what they're doing and the powerlessness of how they're acting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but if we're gonna get metaphysical with it, we need to get all the way metaphysical with it.
Go for it.
Maybe some of this is the generational trauma of being a buck and how these people just had to have kids and just have them out in the world and just all over the place, and that was instilled in some people's family, and that generational trauma is just still continuing on to this day.
Yes, but the metaphysics of it is thinking beyond the actual like dimension that we're in. And in the dimension that we're in, if you're not actively looking to give your soul an experience that you're shaping outside of the one that got shaped when you didn't have control, then you're letting your soul down. That's why it's so important as adults for us to go and seek out therapy, to seek out healing, to seek out just experiences in our own consciousness outside of the ones that were shaped, that we were shaped in when we didn't have control over how we were shaped. Like we
Right.
were just out here. So the whole DNA thing that we're carrying, all this trauma, we have to also take responsibility for how we can reshape that. We are somebody else's ancestors.
Right. Right.
And we're somebody else's parents. That got really deep. That's what happens here at the Amanda Seales Show. We talked about metaphysics in the middle of the show. Somebody call Neil deGrasse Tyson. We'll be right back to the Amanda Seales Show. We up,